Hi everyone, I'm Kate and I'm going to be taking this slow flow yoga session today. Just a couple of things, making sure you've got yourself a drink and you've got enough room, really the size of your mat, just a little bit around the side of the mat to be able to move. Okay, this is, as I say, a slow flow yoga session. We're going to be concentrating on the breath and allowing the mind to calm. So to start with, we're going to come into a bound angel, which is bringing the soles of the feet together and allowing the knees to drop out. Having sort of a foot between your pelvis and the heels, so you've got a little bit of space, and then just allowing the knees to drop out and relax. And then finding length through from the tailbone up to the crown of the head. Lifting the shoulders up towards the ears and then drawing the shoulders back down the back. 3 deep breaths here. And releasing the shoulders, and then bringing the feet into a cross-legged position if you can, and grounding through the left hand, taking the right arm up, remembering to take that length through to the crown of the head and drawing the belly button into spine. We're going to tip that left hand side, dropping the left shoulder away from the ear, creating that nice stretch through the right side body. And inhale, come up to centre and ground through the right hand and take the left arm up. Inhale, and as you exhale, tip into that right hand side, allowing that right shoulder to drop away from the ear. And on the next inhale, releasing the arm and bringing it down towards the mat. I'm going to interlace the fingers. Inhale, raise the arms. And then exhale, bring the hands down behind the hips. And just bringing the wrists towards the sit bones so that you can sort of lean back into those hands and open the chest. And coming back up to that neutral spine. And interlace the fingers. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, raise the arms. And then exhale as we take the hands behind the hips. So bring the wrists towards the sit bones. The fingers are pointing towards the back wall. And then just leaning into those hands and opening up the chest. And then releasing that off. So then interlace the fingers. Inhale, raise the arms, and then release the fingers. And we're going to inhale as we bring the hands down towards the floor or the mat, relaxing the shoulders, bring the forehead towards the floor. And then inhale, and then with the next exhale, creep the fingers forwards. And again, on the next exhale, creep the fingers forwards. And then on the next inhale, walk the fingers back up so that you come into that seating position. So coming up onto our knees here. So creating that nice line from the knees right up to the crown of the head, relaxing the shoulders back and down. We're going to take the right leg out to the side. And then lowering the left hand down to the mat. This is our half circle pose. So taking the right arm over, you can either keep the fingers up pointing towards the sky, or you can take the arm over in line with the ear. So creating a nice long line from fingertips to toes. Inhale, exhale. Remembering to keep the ribs lifted and up towards the sky. And you can even open that out more by dropping that right shoulder and taking the gaze towards the sky. And then releasing that off. Coming back up. And coming into our gate post pose. So just keeping in this same position. And then taking the right hand and the left arm up. Take the right hand down that right leg. And just taking that left arm over. So again, keeping the ribs open. Remembering to breathe. And then releasing that off. So the same on the opposite side. You should feel that through the right leg. Taking the left leg out. So we're going to come into that half circle. So bringing that right hand down to the mat. You could use a book if you wanted to raise that hand up a little bit more, or come onto your fingertips, whatever feels most comfortable, or just ground through that right hand to the mat. And then inhale as we raise the arm up towards the sky. And if you want to, you can take that arm over and in line with the ear, so you create that nice long line from fingertips to toes. And if you want to, you can open that out, so you take the gaze up towards the sky. Drop that left shoulder back. And then releasing that off. So just coming back up. And coming into that gate post pose. So taking the left hand down the left leg and taking the right arm over. Not to put any weight through the knee or in that left hand. And either taking that gaze up towards the sky or keeping the gaze forwards. And then releasing that off. Bring the knees together. We're going to turn so that we're lengthways on the mat. Coming into our puppy dog pose. So walking the hands out, right out in front of us, keeping the hips up and bringing the forehead towards the mat. For our puppy dog pose. Keeping the fingers spread wide, grounding through the backs of the feet. You could rock from side to side with the hips just to find that neutral spine position. And then with the next inhale, seeing if you can lower the chest a little bit more on the exhale. So inhale and then exhale, lowering down nearer to the mat. Relaxing through the shoulders. And then when you're ready, walking the hands up and sitting back into our child's pose. So bringing our hips back to our heels, our hands outstretched in front of us. Now child's pose, you can keep the knees together or you can take them wide. Keeping the toes together, bringing the forehead towards the mat. Again, you could use a book or a block here if you had one available. If your head doesn't quite come down to the mat, you could place a book or a block here to rest your head on. So just calming the mind, concentrating on the breath. 3 deep breaths here. Then walking the hands up. As we come into seated position, we're going to tuck the toes under, just stretch through the backs of the feet. Again, interlace the fingers and open the chest. Big, deep inhale and exhale. And walking the hands forward, we're going to come into our first downward facing dog. So making sure the arms are outstretched, the fingers are spread wide, the toes are tucked under, and then pushing the hips up towards the ceiling or the sky. And then just pedaling through the feet. So bringing the arms in line with the ears, bringing the weight into the heels. as we come into that first downward facing dog. We're going to lift the right foot, coming into three-legged dog, guided by the heel. So the heel goes up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bring that right leg through into a lunge. Now if that doesn't quite make it, just guide it through with your hand. And then just lifting the chest, lifting the gaze, coming into that runner's lunge. Inhale, exhale. And then twisting into that bent leg, so that revolve twist. Lifting the right hand up towards the ceiling. Inhale, and then exhale. Bring that right hand back down and take the right leg back into downward facing dog. And then do the same on the opposite side. So guided by the heel, lifting that left leg up, so we're in three-legged dog. And then we're going to bring that leg through, that left leg through. And like I say, if it doesn't quite make it, wriggle it into position. Lifting the gaze, just opening the chest, lowering the hips a little. And then that revolved twist, so lifting that left arm up, fingertips towards the ceiling. The gaze can be towards the ceiling, or you can keep the gaze down towards the floor. And then bringing the left hand down and taking the left foot back into downward facing dog. So pedal through the feet again, just warming up the ankles. And then take a deep bend in the knees, look forward to the hands, and bring the feet up to meet the hands. Now that can be lots of little steps, one big step, or a jump. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale as we come into forward fold. Bringing the forehead towards the knees. You can keep a slight bend in the knees if the hamstrings are tight. And inhale as we stack the spine and come back up into that extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale as we stack the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Shoulders last, relax the shoulders back and down. Inhale, raise the arms. And then exhale, so we bring our hands to heart center. So inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Then inhale as we bring our hands to our shins and create that nice flat back. So from the crown of the head to the tailbone. And exhale as we lower the hands. And inhale as we come into chair pose. So tucking the tailbone under, relaxing the shoulders back and down. And then when you're ready, bending the arms. So you bring the hands to heart center into that prayer position. And then taking that left elbow over to the right knee. And putting pressure in the palms of your hands. So you're pushing into your palms. Inhale, then come back into chair. And then we'll take it to the right hand side, or the left hand side, sorry, but with the right elbow. So twisting, taking the right elbow to the left knee, making sure the knees stay in line. And then inhale to come back into chair and raise the arms. Ooh, that's a good workout on the legs. Inhale, exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, raise the arms. We're going to go into two sun salutations now. So exhale as we come into forward fold. Inhale as we come into flat back. Exhale as we step the right foot back and the left foot back into downward facing dog. Take a deep breath here. And then bring the shoulders in line with the wrists. And from here, you can either lower to the knees or you can come straight down to the mat. So lowering to the knees and then bringing the shoulders down, keeping the elbows tucked into the side of the body. And with the next inhale, roll the shoulders. So you can come into cobra, or inhale and push up to upward facing dog. And then exhale, lowering back down to the mat, tucking the toes, taking the hips back to the heels, coming into child's pose, and then pushing up into downward facing dog. Pedaling through the feet, and taking a deep bend in the knees, looking forward to the hands, and either taking lots of little steps, or one big step, or a hop, or a jump. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the mat and take the left foot back and then the right foot back into downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale here. And then taking the shoulders in line with the wrists. Now you can either drop to the knees here or lower straight down to the mat, keeping the elbows tight to the body and keeping the elbows pointing the back wall. So then here, inhaling, rolling the shoulders back, coming into cobra, or pushing up into upward facing dog. So on the exhale, you either lower straight back down to the mat, or you can go straight into downward facing dog here. So tucking the toes and taking the hips straight up to downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet. Bend in the knees, look forward to the hands, step, walk, or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Lift the right leg up, take the right leg back. So we come into our warrior one pose. So hips pointing forwards. Inhale, raise the arms. Making sure the knee is in line with the ankle. Grounding through that back right foot. And then from here, opening up to warrior two. So opening, taking that right foot so it's pointing the edge of the mat, keeping the left leg in the same place, relaxing the shoulders back and down. And taking that gaze, the drishti gaze, over the left hand. Take 3 deep breaths here. Just being mindful that that knee doesn't drop in, keeping it pointing forwards. Relaxing the shoulders back and down, belly button towards the spine. Then straighten the left leg, but keeping a micro bend in the knee, so I don't want you to lock into that left knee. Relaxing the shoulders back and down. Then we go into our extended triangle pose. So taking the left hand as if someone's pulling you towards the far wall, the wall in front of you. And then, like an aeroplane wings, we just tilt the arms, keeping the body in the same position, keeping the hip back. You want to be dropping down. And the gaze can be down towards the foot or kept out in front of you. And you can lower, as long as you keep that hip in line with the pelvis and in line with that back foot, you can lower down towards the mat. And then as if someone's pulling your right hand up towards the ceiling, pull yourself back into warrior two. Then bring the hands to the hips as we take both feet to point the edge of the mat. Relaxing the shoulders back and down. We're going to bring the crown of the head down towards the mat. So hinging at the hips and bringing the crown of the head down to point towards the floor. Releasing the hands. And just taking your left hand and just making sure that the hips feel nice and straight and level. And then grounding through the right hand. And we're going to open up to that left hand side, taking the left arm up towards the ceiling. A few deep breaths here. And then bringing that left hand back down, grounding through the left hand, taking the right hand up to the hips, the back of the hips, and just feeling that they feel level and straight. And then opening up to the right hand side. So stacking the shoulders on top of each other. And then releasing that arm down, bringing the hands to the hips and coming back into that standing position. We're going to twist to the opposite side, so we're going to take the right foot pointing the top of the mat. We're going to take the left foot at a slight angle to come into that warrior one pose. So raising the arms, relaxing the shoulders back and down, tailbone tucked under. And then when you're ready, opening back up into that warrior two. So the left foot, toes point to the edge of the mat. Keeping the knee in line with the ankle. Relaxing the shoulders back and down. And taking that gaze out over the right hand. Inhale, exhale. Take another 2 deep breaths. We're going to come into that triangle pose, that extended triangle. So straightening through that right leg, but not locking into the knee. And then feeling as if someone is pulling you by your right arm towards the wall. Keeping the hips in line. And then just tilting the arms. Left arm goes up towards the ceiling. Right fingertips go down towards the mat. And providing this hip stays out and you don't drop down, you can lower as far as you can allow without dropping that left hip. And then when you're ready, being pulled up by that left arm, coming back into that warrior two pose. And then bringing the left leg up to meet the right leg. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, coming into forward fold. Doing 2 more sun salutations here. So inhale, as we bring the hands to shins, creating that nice flat back. Exhale, as we bring the hands back down to the mat. Take the right leg back, left leg back, here into our downward facing dog. Just pedaling through the feet. Making sure the arms are in line with the ears, the weight is in the heels. And then bringing the shoulders in line with the wrists. So you come into that plank position. You can lower to the knees, or you can come straight down to the mat. Rolling the shoulders back and pushing up into cobra. In this position you can remove the hands so you know the lower back is working. Or you can push up into upward facing dog. So on the next exhale, you can lower back down to the mat and then come into child's pose and push up to downward facing dog. Or from here, you can go straight into downward facing dog. And then take a deep bend in the knees, look forward to the hands, and either step, walk or jump up to the top of the mat. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. And left foot back, right foot back, downward facing dog. And then when you're ready, bringing the shoulders in line with the wrists, either lowering straight to the knees or coming straight down to the mat. Lowering the backs of the feet, rolling the shoulders back, coming into cobra. You can remove the hands if you wish, or pushing up into upward facing dog. And on the exhale, either lowering down to the mat and then child's pose and downward facing dog, or straight into downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet. Bending the knees, look forward to the hands, and either step, walk or jump to the end of the mat. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, coming in to our hands into prayer position. So from here, we're just going to go through our mountain pose and just ground ourselves. So rocking backs and forwards through our feet, finding a nice grounded, neutral, central position. Relaxing the shoulders back and down, bringing the palms of the hands forwards. And then grounding through all four corners of the feet. Lifting up the kneecaps, engaging the thighs, bringing the belly button in towards the spine. As I said, relaxing those shoulders back and down and taking the gaze directly out in front of you. Just 3 deep breaths here. Just grounding through the feet. Drawing energy up through the earth, from the earth, up through our feet, up through the body. As we prepare for our tree pose. So tree pose, shift the weight over into your left foot. You can bring the right foot either to the ankle, to the shin, or up to the thigh. Again, remembering to ground through that left foot, drawing that energy up from the earth. And then inhale, raise the arms, relax the shoulders back and down. Find something to focus on, maybe a mark on the wall or an object. Then on the next inhale, draw the hands together. And on the exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Feel a nice long line from the toes up to the crown of the head. So finding length through the back of the neck, belly button to spine, so holding the belly button in. Inhale, then exhale to release. And we'll switch on to the other foot. So grounding through that right foot, bringing the left foot either to the ankle, to the shin, just below the knee, or up on the thigh. Finding something to gaze at. Inhale, raise the arms, relax the shoulders back and down. The next inhale, draw the hands together, and then exhale as you bring the hands to heart center. Focusing on your breathing, grounding through that right foot to the earth. Such a calming pose, connecting pose, and very focusing. And then when you're ready, relaxing, releasing the hands and releasing the leg. From our tree pose, relaxing the shoulders back and down. Just inhale, raise the arms. And then exhale, so bring our hands to heart center and we come to the top of the mat. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Step the right foot back, left foot back into downward facing dog. We're going to lower to our knees, come into our child's pose, taking the hands out right out in front of us, fingers spread wide, forehead towards the mat. You can take the knees wide, keeping the big toes together, bring the forehead down towards the mat. 3 deep breaths here, connecting to the breath, grounding through the palms of your hands, the backs of your feet. Then when you're ready, pushing up into downward facing dog one last time. So bringing the knees together, tucking the toes, pushing yourself up into downward facing dog, pedaling through the feet. And just taking 3 deep breaths here and holding this downward facing dog position. If you want to, you could come into a twist here. So taking the right hand over to the left ankle and looking through this triangle shape you've made under your left arm, and then bringing the right hand back into that downward facing dog and taking the left hand over to the right ankle and looking under that right arm. And then releasing the hand off. And then dropping the knees, coming back down into that child's pose. Bringing the forehead towards the mat. You can take the knees wide and just 3 deep breaths here again, concentrating on the breath. So focusing on breathing in and breathing out. Relaxing into this lovely child's pose. And walking the hands up. So you come up, tucking the toes under, relaxing the shoulders back and down, interlacing the fingers, and just opening the chest again. Closing the eyes here if you want to. Concentrating on the breath. And then releasing the hands and the backs of the feet as we come into our seated pose. Just bringing the left leg down to the mat and taking the right, keeping the right leg bent and taking it over the left leg. And then we take our left arm, we're going to hug the right leg into our body and twisting round, so taking the right hand behind your hips and looking over that right shoulder. A couple of deep breaths here. And taking that right leg down, lifting the left leg up, taking it over the right leg. And the same on the opposite side, so hugging that bent leg in towards the chest, twisting towards the bent leg, taking that left hand behind and looking over the left shoulder. If you flex the right foot, so keep it so the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling and the heel pointing towards that far wall, it will work that leg as well. And then releasing that off. And then as we come down to the mat, you might want to bend the legs so that you can lower yourself gradually down, so working vertebrae by vertebrae. Down to the mat. And just bring the heels up towards the sit bone. And then drop the knees, stacking the feet on top of each other and dropping the knees to the left hand side. Taking the right arm out to the right hand side and looking out over that right arm. So you create a nice twist, nice lengthen through the right side body, twist through the spine. Couple of deep breaths. And then bring the knees up towards the ceiling. And do the same on the opposite side. So allow them to drop to the right hand side, keeping the feet stacked on top of each other. Left arm out, looking out over the left arm. Couple of deep breaths here. Bring the knees back up to centre and hugging the knees to chest. Taking a little rock from side to side. And on the next inhale, on the exhale, bring the forehead up to meet the knees, relaxing the shoulders. Inhale and exhale, lowering the head back down. And then coming into our Savasana pose. So taking our heels out as wide as the mat, our palms up towards the ceiling, grounding through our shoulders but relaxing through our shoulders, creating length through our neck. And now this is our time for a few minutes of relaxation, visualization. So you can imagine that lovely beach that you're lying on, or that cornfield where you've got your picnic blanket laying out in the sun with the birds flying around. Whatever that happy place is for you, take yourself there. Closing the eyes. Focusing on the breath, visualising that happy place. And when you're ready, wiggling the fingers and the toes, opening the eyes, and coming up into a seated position when you're ready. And from here, inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next week. Take care, have a good week. Bye bye.